Hello there, and welcome back to the Lapdown Podcast. My name is Alex. The next voice you're going to hear is Dan. We're already 1 week down of what might be a 24 or might be a 22 or might be even less race season. We're ready for round 2 straight away. Apparently, F1 hates the teams because we're sprinting immediately on week 2 of a new set of both engine and aerodynamic regulations. And it's all kind of kicking off. But, Dan, where do we go? What do we do? I'm lost. I'm lost already. We're hitting the ground so hard.
Yeah, it feels like we need a little bit more time to mature, didn't we, after that Australian Grand Prix, and just figure this shit out that they've served up for us, and find out whether we like it, find out whether we don't like it, find out what the wider world is saying about things. Because there's been, would you be shocked to know that there has been a lot of content produced over the course or the post of this Australian Grand Prix, and there's been so much to try and just pick through, figure it out, understand it. A lot of it is moaning, and therefore it just gets kind of discredited straight away. And it basically is a case of old man doesn't like new things, is essentially what I think the baseline of a lot of podcasts are based on. But not us.
No.
We are your Posse Pod.
The Posse Pod. We are your Posse Pod.
The Posse Pod.
I actually really want us to try our best to maintain that all year, because it's just, it's more fun to live in a happy candy wonderland. And this is going to link into, a good chunk of today's episode, I think. But people just seem to want to be negative. They want to be miserable for no reason. And I don't understand it. I assume you haven't seen, because I hadn't seen until it was posted online. Channel 4 show the races delayed, I think, in the UK. They don't get live broadcast rights on. Oh, and they had a 2.5 minute opener. With Greg Davis, the comedian Greg Davis.
The In-Betweeners man?
The In-Betweeners man. More so the Taskmaster man these days, but
okay, fine. Pick your poison,
Mr. Gilbert. Right. And it was like a 2.5 minute monologue, basically, of him in a pub talking about change as their intro to F1 this year, and it's actually quite sort of on the nose of, please shut up complaining about change just because it's change. Why don't we give something a chance for once? And, he kind of said, everyone said that Lewis going to Mercedes was the worst thing ever. That was change, and look what happened. And then everyone said Lewis going to Ferrari was the worst thing that happened. And look. But it was really nice, actually, because it was quite a change in tone from how a lot of other outlets do it. And it wasn't trying to force me to like it either, which is why I think I enjoyed it. And it's probably what we're trying to do a little bit of. It was just framing it in finding the positive angle for it, particularly now. We've had 1 week. It was just putting it out there that it's all different and it's all new, but it's nice to change things up. Let's see how we go. And I mean, I don't know about you. I'm still very much in the it's nice to change things up, let's see how we go stage.
I would describe myself as open-minded. That's the best way I can put it. I think there's a few things to be aware of. Yep. I think would be fair to say, and just note them down for future episodes, because
like the FIA across the top, the stewards. We've noted the incident of the 2026 regulations.
Exactly,
they have been noted. Haven't gone to the stewards yet.
No,
noted.
No, and we haven't dished out the Colapinto and go.
No.
We just noted, and that's it at the moment, and that's okay. You're allowed to do that. You're allowed to be open-minded, but in equal measure with your positivity. You're allowed to just be a little bit guarded as well, and that's okay. But what we're saying is you can't just open the box and go, well, it's shit, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, well, yeah, but you've never tried it. Yeah. No, it's shit. I don't like broccoli.
Yeah.
All right. When was the last time you had broccoli?
Have you had?
Nah, never.
Yeah.
No, never. No, it's shit, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't think so. And I don't necessarily know how you would say for certainty that it's shit, having not eaten any broccoli.
Yes.
And now we're comparing Formula One to green vegetables.
Which is, I think, what we do best. And I will continue the analogy, because if we're to be sort of believed, Australia was the worst possible scenario or near enough the worst possible scenario for these regs. Not a huge amount of heavy braking zones, not a huge amount of slow corners, a lot of straight, flat outy bits between those. So Australia was like plain boiled broccoli. It wasn't even steamed broccoli. It was just mum's thrown that in the slow cooker's on. That might be what it is. It's broccoli in the slow cooker is what Australia was for these regulations. You've taken something that people are already slightly cautious of and are prepared not to like without trying it.
Yeah.
And then you've come home and the slow cooker's on. Hopefully, based on what we've been told, China should be some lovely Tenderstem broccoli with a little bit of chili, garlic. It's been maybe steamed and then tossed through a pan with some olive oil. Maybe some crispy onions over the top at the end. It feels like there's some pressure on China this weekend. And thankfully, they know what they're fucking doing with food. So that's a great start, first of all. Can I have some like Chinese fried greens broccoli this weekend? Just to as much, and I've done this before on the pod, just to tell the whiners to fucking shut up for like 10 minutes. Why do you want it to be shit? That's the impression I get, is people are so determined for something to fail. And it's the same in, I do some work in like the video game industry. It's the same with games. A new game will come out that a team of a couple hundred people minimum have put a load of effort into and obviously really like, and people want to see the numbers be shit, or they want to find problems with it, or they're analyzing, oh, well, look, after the first 12 hours, less people are playing now. So, yeah, it's 3 a.m. in America. Like, that's why. It's just, have some positivity for once, you absolute bunch of cunts. That's my summary of it. Eat the broccoli. Toss the broccoli in the wok.
That's a fair comment. And just a reminder for everybody that is listening, we are the Positivity Podcast, despite what you may or may not have figured out there from Alex's rant. It was something similar to the back straight in Shanghai, the length of that rant going into people's general negativity on this Positivity Podcast. So that's where we are. We are positive people. We like Formula One and we're open-minded with regards to this change. If you're enjoying the podcast, please leave us a review or subscribe to our pages and follow us on the various different accounts, because we do actually have some Formula One stuff to talk about. And we've got wings to talk about. We've got aeroplane rides. We've got merchandise. We've got unhappy customers. And probably, shall we start? We'll start post Melbourne, because we've still got a little bit to deal with there. And we're going to talk about social media. And you and I, in different worlds, are semi-qualified in the world of social media, I think would be fair to say. And there was a graphic that went up on screen on Twitter. I don't know how good Twitter is anymore as a barometer with regards to the general population now, or whether it is actually, I think, is just an echo chamber. But it highlighted the number of overtakes at the Australian Grand Prix in 2026 compared to what was 2025. Now, from my perspective, I think that's Formula One going, it was better than what you think it was. Shut the fuck up.
A lot of finger business about it, isn't it? It's
exactly
Liam Lawson in Mexico type shit is what's going on there.
Precisely. However, it wasn't met brilliantly, was it, by the fans? And the issue came about that it had been recognised that the Formula One account had actually been muting the replies and hiding the replies on the post. But you've actually done some investigative journalism on this. So
that's what we do.
I tell you what, New Year, new us, right?
Didn't even use the thinking partner for it. I did this myself. This was my own research, and do not.
You're still in the job, Rosie.
Yeah. Now, so I've done sports media before. I have run the account of a professional sports team in the trenches, and this might not be true. And I can only speculate on this from the outside. If I'm running that Formula One account, slightly different volume of replies, admittedly, that they're getting than I was getting on a county cricket club. But we had a flat rule, basically, if you could criticise pretty much whatever you wanted, as long as it wasn't a personal attack that went beyond a line. You can say someone's shit, but you can't, really go in for them. And swearing, we're a wholesome, inclusive family club. There are children that follow us, whatever. So if you call someone a fucking shitting cunt in the reply, it's getting hidden. Not because I don't agree with you. Sometimes I may have agreed with you. But we had quite a black and white line of if it's not going to be on Channel 4 at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it's going to get hidden from our comments as well. Just because you've kind of got a small amount of duty of care of controlling your own. It's your room, right? If someone's being a prick at your party, you tell them so. You just tell them to simmer down. So I just had a little squizzy through it, and this might not be what they were doing, but every one of the replies that I saw that they had hidden was saying, get rid of this fucking shit. These regulations are so fucked. Like, they weren't just saying, yeah, okay, you had 140 overtakes, but these regulations are a joke. It wasn't those that they were... I might not have gone far enough down. They had admittedly hidden a fair bit. Everything I'd seen, there was some post-watershed language. For those of you in the UK, that will make sense. For those of you not in the UK, it will not make sense. There was strong language in all of them. So if I'm going to be Posipod and putting my media manager hat on, I think they've drawn that line of a little bit of language moderation, and it would help to weed out some of the negativity at the same time. Might not have been that at all. Might have just been an admin having a bad day, just going, oh, screw you, screw you, screw you. But I think it's language-based, or at least partially language-based.
How was your day at work today, dear? Oh, brilliant. I spent my entire day sat on our F1 official Twitter page hiding replies to a post about overtakes.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Do you want to go walk the dog,
wasn't that the post you were telling me that was a really good post because it highlighted that the new regulations had 3 times as many overtakes as it did last year? Yeah, that one. Well, people were unhappy with that. Yeah, they were, quite angrily. That just links back to my China back straight rant. How have you managed to look at the fact that there were the best part of 3 times the total amount of overtakes? I think I saw a stat, and I can't remember it, and I'm not going to reference exactly who it was, so citation needed, but there was something like last year's total amount of overtakes inside the first 10 laps or something like that. Like, we came out the gates hard on these regs. Overtakes, great. That's what I want. That's what I want in racing, is I want positions changing. How can you possibly be unhappy with that, or violently unhappy with that, as people were? I don't get it. Don't get it.
No, genuinely, I don't either. I really don't. I can understand why the noises don't make you feel fuzzy, and I can understand why you think, well, this doesn't really make sense in my simple brain that cars are kind of slowing down whilst still accelerating, and that doesn't really make sense. I understand that bit, but actually, as a spectacle, you've kind of got the right ingredients here.
Yeah.
And they are going to tinker with these ingredients, aren't they, through the course of the season, which again is something that you've been investigating over the course of the week, or over the 3 days that we'd done since recording the last episode. But it does sound like, and I don't particularly like it, it does sound like Formula One are able to pick and choose and increase and decrease the ingredient level and capacity for various different components to try and make it more fun depending on where we are in the world, which... overview, okay. I don't necessarily think I enjoy the fact that somebody above has a level of control where they can just turn on and turn off things as and when they feel like it to make it interesting.
Yeah, there's sort of 2 things at play, I guess. There's already some regulations written, and they are part of the regs. And to be fair, I don't know how well these have been publicised. I might be really late to the party on this. We might get a load of comments being like, everyone's known that from the start, you idiot. Fine. The total amount of recharge allowed, I assume per lap, is different from track to track, and they are grouped together. And it is based on what I was saying before with braking zones and your ability to recharge on a lap. And they vary depending on what they perceive like the track characteristics to be like, essentially. And China has one of the higher recharges. Albert Park had one of the lowest, I think, was the way round it was. There's a lot of numbers involved in joules and megajoules and watts and kilowatts and all this stuff that is far too technical for this pod. But they are, and I think we did touch on this previously, either last week or the week before, of, okay, we've got concerns about running out of juice at the end of some of the longer straights. Can we not just turn the battery up a little bit for that one? Which is, but the sounds of things, slightly what they're doing. It is more quali focused, is my understanding, than race focused. It's about being able to push harder and not seeing people doing LICO during a quali lap, because I will agree, we don't want that. Quali should absolutely be you know, tearing around that track. So there's that going on. And then there's a second, I believe they're now going to have a conversation after China, the FIA, with the teams, and basically have a little sit down and be like, right, lads, so what do we think? We've had 2 goes at it. Yeah. Bad track, good track. Where are we sitting? And then we may well see a change on that. I mean, if they came out, and I appreciate I'm putting you on the spot here, and knowing you'd like to do a load of research on this, but
I love research.
If the FIA comes out after this meeting after China and says, we're doubling the total battery capacity, we've just made a decision, yeah, sweet, you can have twice as much battery for the total amount of the lap. Do you care? Are you happy with that? Are you upset with that? Do you think that's a knee-jerk? Where do you stand on if they came out and made an immediate tweak 2 races in? How does that sit with you?
If they came back and turned around and said, look, we're going to go back to V10 engines and a whole load of petrol and no batteries, I'd be all for it. What I like about it is the fact that they're going to be open-minded to what the future of this looks like. And they're almost very self-aware that they already know that they might not have developed the perfect product that maybe they thought they had in order to get things better or working in the way that they wanted to work them. So in order to make it as successful as possible, to be able to speak to the teams, get their feedback, and figure out a plan to go forward to make sure that it is as enjoyable, because each day goes by, it is less and less of a sport and more of an entertainment spectacle, isn't it? With all of the other bits and pieces that go with it. So if we have a sport that can be entertaining at the same time, and if that does require fiddling around with batteries, I think everybody wins. I think you win as a sports fan because you do get a more competitive sport, and you win as an entertainment business because you're able to create those graphics to let people know that there were 4 times the number of overtakes in China this year than what there were 12 months ago type thing. So that's okay. I don't see us getting to the end of the regulations, whenever that might be, and going, oh, fucking love batteries. I just don't. And I don't. That might just be me, and it might be a wider thing. I don't know, but I don't think we get to the end of it and go, fuck, batteries are great.
Yeah.
I love hybrids. That's what I want to be.
Yeah.
Because we are basically talking about a lot of like things bolted on the side of a Toyota Prius, aren't we?
And look, they are quick Priuses, certainly. Quick, windy Prius.
You get
Prius
places
things.
quickly in an Uber of this kind of stature, wouldn't you?
You get around. Get around.
You would
quick.
get around.
I think people maybe forget as well, or they choose to ignore because they're not the Posse Pod, that was also like week 1 of an entirely new set of 2 lots of regulations at the same time on a terrible circuit. So we're not dialed in. The drivers don't really know quite how to use the tool that they're inside. The engineers don't quite know how to set up the tool they're giving the drivers. The strategists don't really know what they're doing. Engine map, deployment maps and all that kind of stuff. They're not going to be dialed in. So it was always going to be a scruffy weekend, and there were going to be issues. I know Verstappen had come out a couple of times and said, like, my deployment was just completely wrong. In some places it was, absolutely fucked here. I think Hadjar came out and said something as well, like deployments are crap. Going to happen. Like that's just teething issues and it would be interesting to see for me how quickly we hear less complaining, because okay, it might not be what they want, but at least it's predictable. Because I think that's what F1 drivers hate, isn't it? They want what they're in to be predictable and do what they want it to do. And I think, maybe some people expected race 1, everyone to hit the track perfect. And that they were going to know exactly what they're doing with these regs. I mean, you can do all the sim testing you want. It's not going to happen, is it? So, yeah, it's just wait and see, everyone. Have a little look. Keep an open mind. Do what the FIA is doing. We'll have a chat about it. We'll have a little look-ski. And we'll see what happens. But, I think you hit them on the head that it's quite nice that they're sentient to... We need to not just really dig our heels in on this. Be like, no, we got it exactly right the first time. And just have a little massage if we need to, just to see how things go. But I'll ask you this question as well, which probably wraps up all of that. What's a really good outcome for China in terms of, okay, we've got people unhappy with what the racing looked like in Australia or how that went down. What needs to happen in China, or what should China look like? What do we need to see this weekend to put any amount of fears, concerns to rest for anybody? Or is there nothing that can happen this weekend that will change the minds of those people that were unhappy with Australia or the regs in general?
I think, for one, it's suicidal if we get a whole host of shit clipping down the back of that straight. That's what I'm going to call it now. That's the official name for it. Shit clipping. That's it. Done. Or shit harvesting, whatever you'd like to call it. I guess that's slightly more agricultural than if there's a lot of that, then it's pretty damaging, I think. And I think it just, all it does, you've got a crowd already with pitchforks. They're just waiting for that little ember to be able to light those pitchforks and go for a big Simpson-style rampage through Springfield and really kind of throw things around. If they get that right, then I think the other thing that probably needs to happen in order to kind of appease the masses would be to have a non-Mercedes winner as well. I think if we can get through this weekend and we're not talking about shit clipping and we're talking about whether it's Leclerc, whether it's Hamilton, whether it's Verstappen, whether it's Norris, Piastri, probably less so Hadjar, but you never know. If it's any one of those other 6 or 8, I think we get to it and we go, yeah, I tell you what, we're back. Yeah. So we were gone, we were back, we were gone, we're back again. We're so back. If that happens, brilliant. Yeah, the shit clipping thing, I think, could be possible to get through it. The non-Mercedes winner feels slightly less likely based on what we saw in Melbourne. But as you said, the track's totally different. The conditions are going to be totally different. The whole side of it is going to be different. Mercedes are going to be victim to this reliability thing as well because they're still figuring this stuff out. There is jeopardy involved. So there are things to figure out. But yeah, that's me. I don't know if you've got anything else that you want to kind of chuck in the blender of positivity there, but they're the two that I've got.
No, I think we did briefly touch on this last week, and if we didn't after Australia, we probably were meant to. I do wonder how much of people's concern is just about the fact that Mercedes was 7/10 quicker in quali, and it's a fear of that one team has nailed the regs. And I would almost go as far as to say if it wasn't Mercedes that had nailed the regs, people would even be happier. I think if it was Ferrari that had nailed the regs and Ferrari had been 7/10 clear, because I think Red Bull have been too dominant too recently, McLaren have been too dominant too recently, and Mercedes were too dominant for a long time quite recently. Yeah. We haven't had a Ferrari domination for a while. That I think if the team in red was 7/10 ahead, people would have been like, Ferrari's, yeah, here we go. How cool is this? Lewis, let's go. I think that is sort of clouding judgment, possibly. So I think that is possibly a big point, that if we can have even a Merc win, but it's like a silver and 2 reds on the podium, and they could see each other maybe crossing the line. That feels like quite a low bar, that the top 3 could see each other when they finished. But even something like that, as long as maybe that quali gap is 2/10 or under 2/10, or at least on that social graphic, they're in a clump. Then I think it's that. And I think the shit clipping thing is a valid point. I think that's the most obvious area where people can think they see from an offboard that something feels very strange. I think the mid-lap management, I don't think is that big a deal. I think going around squiggly bits, harvesting and deploying, it sort of is what it is, isn't it? It's just that long old drag down into the 180-degree right-hander down at the end
pretty
there.
much. Just under, isn't it?
So yeah, no, I would agree. I think it is heavily results-based. Rough from the FIA, by the way, to give them a sprint in round 2 of a new set of regs. I mean, what in the fuck have they done there? They must hate these teams. Could you not have given them like 5 races or something to actually work out which way around the wheels go on before you tell them, yep, you get 1 FP session this week, lads, and then you're racing each other?
Yeah, but it's fun though, right?
Great fun.
I was going to say, like, from the positivity podcast, that's fantastic. Like to go and have a sprint. We're essentially going into a weekend of an anything can happen weekend. That's kind of what it feels like here. I don't necessarily know what the weather forecast is going to be like. I think Shanghai is normally pretty dry for its Grand Prix. I can't think of many off the top of my head, if any, that have been kind of weather affected. But
she's dry.
You have that.
She's dry.
Yeah, I thought she probably would be. But as you say, you get 1 practice session, which for some of the teams, Aston Martin, Cadillac, and a couple of the others, are going to be so valuable to get that running, and they're going to be desperate for FP2 and FP3. But who knows? Who actually knows? And for those guys that are at the back, and I mean the real back, i.e. the Cadillac and the Aston Martin, this weekend's could be even more painful than what Melbourne was for them, because they just won't get that time on track, will they, to get the R&D to figure out what they need to do before they can then kind of potter about in a feature race on Sunday. It's a real kind of fuck around and find out weekend for those guys, and that's pretty cool. I don't think it's going to affect the boys at the top all that much, but you never know. You just never know. And that's, look, sprints. And maybe I'm changing my mind, AB. Maybe I'm changing my mind. Maybe I'm not a sprint every weekend kind of guy now. Maybe I am a sporadic sprinter that just creates another little spanner to throw in the middle of an engine.
Do you think there was any part of the scheduling, and I know there's a lot of commercial stuff involved and whatever, and it might have been an agreement with China that they will always get a sprint, to sign or whatever. Do you think there was any part of them that thought, should we hold off on sprints until sort of part of the way in the year to get them sorted? Or do you think they were just like, nah, fuck you all. Go on. Have a go. It's a little bit Hunger Games. The geezer there watching all the monitors being like, and then I'm going to make them sprint week 2.
It is. Contractually, it would make sense because China had one last year, right?
Yeah.
Because Lewis won that one, didn't he? Which was kind of cool.
And everyone was like, we're so back. And then we were not back.
We never were. Yeah, all of this kind of sports planning type stuff fascinates me really, because there must be some form of contractual agreement to it, because otherwise, is it quite literally just down to one person just sat in an office somewhere that's just going, fuck it, that'll do. And I mean, with the strength and the development of all these AI partners that people have got, does the person who puts it together, do they even do it? Do they just turn around and say, hi, Claude, give me six random numbers out of 24, and Claude just goes 2, 7, 13, 17, 21, and the bloke at the F1 just goes, that'll do, and we move on. I don't know, but I like it. It's fun, it's good, it's positive, and it's great. Did you also see, we'll continue the positivity because we like positivity and we like ingenuity as well. Did you see Ferrari apparently packed the flippy wing?
Get me the flippy wing. Get me the flippy wing. I'm so
I know, right? How good will that be to see that in a competitive session?
Yeah. Is there, I guess, I say I guess with some confidence, and then I'm backtracking now. Is the way that your wing actuates a Parc Ferme thing? Is that like, if I run that, I know they can change between the sprint and whatever, so it doesn't, this weekend maybe is slightly different to other things. But, because it feels like it should be. But then, it's meeting, like, the wing's still, I don't know. Like, is the wing allowed to fold up in quali and down? It must not be. I'm thinking aloud, and it feels like that feels like quite a big thing to be able to change under Parc Ferme. But I hope they run it just to see if it's any good, because that's the cool bit of Formula One, is that they've found a different solution to the problem. Although, even if they do run it, I don't think we'd learn a huge amount this weekend, because the chat is that hopefully Mercedes might not be quite so far away, because it is a little bit more of a slow squiggler than it was last week. But it does a flip. It's just cool, isn't it? It's a rear wing that does a flip. Come on.
It's so over-engineered.
Oh, great!
And this is coming from the team and the company that do not deviate from their pit strategies and things like that. So for them, it does make you scratch your head a little bit as to how they got to that outcome, doesn't it? It really does, because they're not known for ingenuity, Ferrari, really, when it comes generally. We spoke about it, didn't we, post Melbourne, with their pit strategies, and not just Melbourne, but over the course of time. And they've always felt like quite a safe bunch of people like kicking around. But this just feels like they've gone and appointed like a real tearaway designer and just said, just go and have fun, mate. Don't worry about it. Or they've just put them in an office and then forgotten about them for a bit, and all of a sudden he's come back with a wing that just flips upside down, and some bloke's gone, oh, shit. Well, I mean, we've paid him for 6 months now, so we better see if it works. Look, it's cool. I just hope we see it in a competitive session, because I think even if it doesn't work, it's going to be something so cool to see.
Wouldn't it be great if it was a mistake? Like, it wasn't actually meant to do a full flip. It was just meant to be it was meant to be like the Alpine one. It was just meant to lie down, but it's Ferrari. So it lie down much too far and did a full flip, and they went, oh, actually, Hang on. That's still... I'll tell you what, Luigi, mate, you might be fucking onto something there. The old Flippy.
That's phenomenal.
Get around them. I hope. They've got terrible... no, not terrible. It's perfectly adequate-looking merch this weekend, but they've got special edition merch, Ferrari, that looks like sort of off-brand West Indies cricket, Red Bull racing. It's very navy blue. It didn't look like Ferrari gears. Quite nice, but did not look like Ferrari gears. Surely we're too early as well in the season for special merch. No, I know that like otherwise, the early season racers would miss out on having special stuff. But are we really turning up to round 2 on the calendar and going, hey, we've got a special edition hoodie? Like, you've only just revealed the normal edition hoodie. Do we need a special one already? You were distracted looking at the hoodie, weren't you?
Yeah, no, I just thought I'd do some research and see what's kind of going on. And you're right, it looks okay. I don't know why it's blue.
No. Right. Unless they turn up with a livery this weekend that looks the same, which that would also be quite rogue. So,
I mean, it seems phenomenally unlikely, doesn't it? But it's, yeah, because like if now I'm going to be talking to a very, very small number of people here, very small number of people. But if you are the big proper season ticket home and away Ferrari fan that's kind of togged up in the merchandise week in, week out, and you're there. Oh, you just travel around the world. You are there. You're the Ferrari Ultra. You're doing like the football chants in the stadium and stuff like that. You kind of go, and all this other nonsense. You're going to be a bit pissed off, aren't you, if you've just gone and bought the 2026 team shirt, and then you get to the second game of 2026, and you're turning up and you're going, fuck, they're playing in the away kit this week. Bollocks. Didn't get it. Or we've just got a random anniversary kit.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Well, there's another £100 that I haven't got now.
I also, if we're going back to the Ferrari Ultra logic of, if I was going to buy a special edition bit of merch, right, I'm really into buying that merch. Do you not want the merch that looks the most Ferrari? Or is that the approach of someone that's not actually an Ultra fan, that they want their merch to look really Ferrari-esque? Because are you buying a Ferrari hoodie that doesn't look like a Ferrari hoodie and looks like a Red Bull hoodie? Like, is that the one you're buying? Maybe people are. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. You would if you were that person, you wouldn't want to be mistaken identity, would you?
No.
You would not want to be sat in the grandstand. Somebody taps you on the shoulder and goes, "I tell you what, Max was good today, wasn't he?" And then you slowly turn around in your blue T-shirt with your prancing horse on it, and all of a sudden it's oh, sorry, I didn't realise. No, strange. Maybe it'll be good. Maybe it'll be cheap on AliExpress or something like that, and you might be able to get it for considerably cheaper than what. Although I think other people in the Middle East are starting to throw things at people now, and potentially getting stuff from the likes of AliExpress could become quite tricky going forward. So maybe you are just going to have to buy the proper shit.
No, I won't be.
No, fine, good.
That will not be happening.
Did you see that McLaren are not very happy with Mercedes?
Yes, they wanted a seat at the table to talk about engines. They were told, yes, of course, we'll give you a seat at our table and you can talk about engines. They just didn't give them a seat at the big boy table to talk about the actual engines. They sort of put them on the kids' table, or they put them in that table at the back that's near where like the cutlery station is for the waiters. So all you hear the whole time is them dumping crockery into a bin.
Yeah. I get it. I completely get it.
Yeah.
And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my comparison. I'm gonna get my analogy book out.
Is this one about food? Is this broccoli based?
It's similar.
Ooh.
I'm talking. What I'm doing now is I'm talking Marks and Spencers, and I'm talking Lidl or Aldi even, because I think Aldi, is it Aldi or Lidl that are the dupers?
Both of them will dupe, but Aldi are a little bit more aggressive about their desire to dupe.
Yeah. So you've got Marks and Spencers. They're your Percy Pig supplier, right? Or your Colin the Caterpillar supplier.
Or your clothing supplier if you're Williams.
Precisely. It's popular, official. And people like it. And what they've done is McLaren here, your Aldi, your Lidl, have looked at it and gone, yeah, that's good. What we're going to do is we're going to create pink sweets called Eric the Elephants. Now, Marks and Spencers are never going to let Aldi, go into the factory to find out how those Percy pigs are actually created. I realise that a lot of our listeners here are American, and this is going to mean less than fuck all to all of you. So apologies in advance, but Google exists, and you can figure this stuff out if you like. Basically, there's confectionery or candy. That's kind of duplicated from one kind of shop to another shop, and it's kind of a little bit like that in my mind. Is in this new regulation space, McLaren are a customer. I can completely understand why the provider isn't telling the customer to the nth degree as to what exactly makes this thing work. McLaren might figure it out. They did last time, didn't they? They did a better job with their Mercedes engine than what Mercedes were able to do themselves. But I don't necessarily think if I was giving you my engine to go and put in the back of your car and we were in a direct competition with each other, I don't think I'd be telling you everything about it. No. You can figure it out. You can figure it out, but I'm not telling you.
I don't think there should be, is the other thing. If you want complete control over your engine, and I appreciate this is very simplistic, but if you want complete control over every part of your engine, make your own engine.
Get to Honda.
Not Honda. But you're McLaren. Did McLaren make their own engine for their supercars?
I'm not convinced they do, you know.
But no, it sounds right. You should be entitled to obviously be happy with the product you're getting, but if you want that level of control, you do what Red Bull have done, and you bring your own engine manufacturing in house. Otherwise, you sort of take what you're given and you make the best of it, which, as you say, they have very successfully done. They haven't on this occasion, but I don't see why McLaren should get a voice in the conversation about how Mercedes make their engine. I can't tell Marks and Spencer that they should put more pink dye in it because I want the pig's face to be pinker. Like, M&S are very happy with the colour of the pig's face, please and thank you. And that's what it is. So, yeah, I get it. I don't get it. I think McLaren are probably just disappointed with how they did round one. I think if they'd have been on the podium or if they'd finished tight on P4, Stella probably doesn't come out and say that. Yeah. I think there's a certain amount of sort of catching up, papering over, I guess, of like, hey, don't pay attention to the fact that Lando was stuck in P5, 6 and couldn't make any impression on anyone. Don't talk about that. Well, it's because we weren't allowed to talk about the ingredients that went into the engine. I was like, well, Andrea, mate, okay. But again, one race. They might win it by a second and a half this weekend because they might just not be very good on those, not squiggly tracks. It's been one race. It's been one race.
Yeah. We don't know. We don't know. But it does follow on from what we started with. It is quite amazing how quickly people can just throw some shit out there and see what might stick.
Yeah.
And I think this is just an example of McLaren doing exactly that. And I'm not really sure the angle of which are they just going for sympathy? Like, is it a thought that, if we get a couple of quotes out on Sky Sports F1, there'll be a few people commenting on it, and then Mercedes will feel like, they'll have to tell us like where the magic button is to make this thing go a little bit quicker. They'll have to because Charlie from Stoke said some hurty words on Twitter, so that'll make it work. It's weird, it is odd, I don't like it. Figure it out for yourself, lads. You will. I'm certain you will. You'll get it sorted. But just it's been one race. Do you want to talk about decimal points on timing towers, or is that a bit wank and shit and we can't really be bothered to talk about it on the Positivity podcast?
No, I understand the complaint, and I'm confused about why they got themselves in this situation in the first place. So for those of you, and to be fair, I both did and didn't notice it because I felt like something looked off about the timing tower, but then obviously other things have changed on the timing tower as well. So I hadn't necessarily noticed that I'd lost 2 decimal places, but I had noticed that something you came home and stuff wasn't where I'd left it, type thing.
Someone's been in my house. And I can't prove it, but I think somebody's moved the porridge oats.
It just seems a strange choice to me to get rid of it and not use that space. It's not as if they'd taken 2 decimal places away because they wanted to put a battery status indicator or an overtake indicator or anything like that. They've taken them away and made the font a bit bigger. It just seems odd to me when that information, and because they're rounding it as well, I think is the other problem. And a 10th in Formula One is an insane amount of time. that, being, if it rounds down to 1, but 1, like where they're rounding points, it obviously makes a difference on overtake modes and that sort of thing. So I can see them changing it back quite quickly. I can see them claiming there's a reason that we did or didn't do it. I expect to see it change back sharpish. Yep. I think.
Me too, and I think it would be a good decision to do that because, in my opinion, it takes away a bit of the excitement out of it. Yeah, you didn't get to build your own anticipation to see a car getting closer on the left hand side of your screen because quite often actually the numbers just didn't change. It was actually more of a static image rather than a kind of a fluid image that we come used to. So change it.
Do
please.
You think? And I'm speculating now. Do you think part of why they thought they would round and because they were a lot more static? Obviously, there is a little bit more toing and froing that happens now because we're talking about differing power states and states of charge and all the rest of it. Yep. Do you think that they were, again, trying to paper over and sand off the fact that I would close in and then pull back and they're going, oh, well, actually, if we go to 1/10 and we round a little bit more, that will kind of average out the fact that they do this a little bit more. That might be why. I don't think it's a dumbing down. I saw a lot of people talking about like, it's a dumbing down. I might be naive. I don't think their intention was to dumb it down. I think they're either using it to hide something or to average out something, or they just thought it looked neater. And then no, people did actually care about those last 2 numbers. So we'll put them back. Yeah,
I hope they change it back.
Yeah.
My thought was about the simplification side of things, and I can't be bothered to make idiots' lives easier. I just either figure it out or go and find something else that you do understand. Yeah. It's a bit like the sticker over the hot tap that says caution hot water, or it's the sticker on the back of a peanuts package that says caution may contain nuts. Yeah. It's that kind of, I can't be bothered with it. And I know this isn't Formula One related. This is more
not
kind
positivity
of
podcast either.
No, but right now. This is more widely world kind of related. It's just I can't be arsed with you. Like if you're going to put your hand under a hot tap and then be surprised it's hot, I'm not interested. I have literally nothing to say to you. There is nothing there. If you're shocked, I'm done.
This is a slight tangent, but the battery charge level, I need to make a redaction, a formal redaction on the pod. Because I was quite pleased that we got to see the battery charge, and I had found it quite interesting to see how those levels were changing. Bollocks, apparently. All bollocks. Because that information, and this is cheeky, I think, this would be Liberty at this point.
Yeah.
That was some more of that AWS AI guesswork bollocks, because that data isn't actually publicly made available. It was like fuel levels and tire temperatures and all that. It's like that protected thing that they don't have to share that.
Yeah.
So that was just like estimated charge levels and whatever. But that wasn't relayed at any point on that graphic. The graphic presented that as fact, and that is very cheeky, because I'm used to, and everyone's used to, they have previously done a little bit of that, like deploying, charging, whatever stuff. But it was quite clear this was like powered by AWS, like projections, I think was the word they might have used, or something similar. That was gone from this graphic, which is quite an oversight, because now you're in a sport of data. You're providing me data that's not data, and that's cheeky. It's very cheeky. So I'm redacting my excitement about that, because I will not be looking to the bottom of the screen for that anymore, because it don't mean shit.
No problem. Redacted.
There you go.
Redacted. Speaking of people that might want to redact things, I don't think Isaac Hadjar or Kimi Antonelli are old enough to have seen those World War II posters of the two ladies on the bus saying careless talk costs lives with the Nazis sat behind them. Because that is essentially what's happened for these two on their charter flight between Australia and China. Allegedly. In that, by all accounts, we're not going to Bahrain or Saudi.
No. Which is not a surprise to anyone. I don't think. But yeah, and this is why I bring in the allegedly in. A lot of people are taking this one like X post or Insta post or something directly at their word. Now, obviously, they were on this plane with those two. They're not making up that they did indeed see Hajar and Antonelli on this plane. But they were sort of providing a lot of detail about the conversation that there's no way of actually verifying. Now, I think it will probably come true, and I think the teams probably would know by now. I think it's near enough. We're not talking rounds 8 and 9. We're talking round 4, I think.
What is it, about 3 weeks away?
Bahrain is. Yeah. We're inside a month until that event's happening. They're making calls on that event now because I've seen enough Ted's notebooks to know how early a lot of that cargo gets sent from one race to another. And it's actually sent for like 7 races time is when you see that front wing again and all that. It's quite interesting. But they're cancelling that. They're not making the call the week before. So I think it is gone. But
yeah,
they do need to be quite careful about the people overhearing, apparently. But if it was going to be anyone, it was going to be those two as well, wasn't it? Because they
feels
feel
like it, yeah.
Like they are the children of the paddock still. Yeah. Come on, lads. Like
or an Ollie and Arvid type kind of. Well, my mum doesn't really want me to go to Saudi at the moment. Don't worry, mate. I've been told we're not going anyway.
Why is he a Cockney geezer?
Why not?
They've all got very posh accents, and he's now a Cockney geezer. But
it's fine. It's fine. Look. When it comes to allegedly, I think it's important that we don't use the correct accents.
No, fine by
because
me.
we can't be held accountable for this. So that's pretty much the list, isn't it? We've got a little bit of a jingle jangle to play because we need to. We've decided now. Last year, our preferred driver of the Lapdown podcast. It's a fluid thing. It's always been a fluid thing. It was very loosey goosey last year. There was not a huge amount of management happening. There were no performance reviews. It was just a case of we told you were done. And then an employment tribunal told us that you need to put people on a performance management plan if you do wish to sack them for poor performance. So we need to introduce the first of the Pedoddle 1-to-1s, which is what this is. But before that, we have a jingle for that now, which is bloody exciting. We've now got a Pedoddle Dip jingle, which we can fire off at any point.
Pedoddle Dip.
Bum, bum.
Pedoddle Dip. Pedoddle Dip.
So we now have, when you hear the whistle, you know what's coming, and it's Pedoddle Dip time. In Australia, there was a marketing campaign for a brand of sunscreen called Banana Boat, based around that song. And I can't stop singing that every time I hear the intro now. So cheers for that. And of course, thank you to our official Jingly Noises partner for providing that. Just a quick check-in with Valtteri. Are we happy? How's he trucking? And is anyone else in the paddock catching your eye on a Pedoddle Dip that you just think, just got me doing a little bit of scouting?
No,
you're happy. Happy with Valtteri?
Yeah, I don't think. No, that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, on-track performance is irrelevant.
Correct.
Not important. Well, not irrelevant, but not exactly the defining factor as to what's going on. But I think I've seen enough of Valtteri Bottas in a pair of Speedos over the last couple of months to kind of have enough credit in the bank to just carry him forward for a bit longer. Like sooner or later, there's going to be like a limited edition helmet or something like that from Valtteri, or something's going to happen and he's just going to get more credits in the box. And I think we're going to be okay. I do think we're going to be okay. Have you noted anything down on the pip?
I just want to put Liam Lawson on a radar. That's all.
Oh,
he's just blipped. He's just blipping. He's still on like the edge of the radar, right? My little Pedoddle Dip submarine is right in the middle, and he's just a little soft blip on the outside over there.
Yeah.
And again, to be fair, if anything, it's actually the VCarb admin that I wish to put as the Pedoddle Dip, but I can't because he's not a driver, so he is disqualified. So the closest I could do is put his plaything in as a result. And just seeing a lot of great media stuff from Liam, which is obviously a key KPI for the Pedoddle Dip. So just blipping him on a radar.
The thing is we did speak about him quite a bit in the episode where we formally announced Valtteri Bottas as the official Plodopodip of the... I still can't get that right. Of the Formula One Lapdown podcast. teamradio@lapdownpod.com or something like that.
There you go. Get better at that.
I think I've nailed it. And the other thing as well, I think probably to talk about, and that was what we focused on, wasn't it? About the media, and we said, well, we can't really give him too much credit for it. But he's still got to do it. Have you seen some of the stuff that he did with Red Bull over the winter when he went lawnmower racing and like with Shane Van Gisbergen and Mad Mike and stuff? That's good. That's worth looking at, because I feel like he may just move slightly further into the center of your radar from there. And of course, there was the brilliant interaction between him and Sergio Perez once again on track at Melbourne, along the lines of "this bloke's a fucking idiot" or something along those kind of lines. And yeah, look, Valtteri's safe. Valtteri's good.
Yep.
But I think Liam's probably he's probably next in line. You know.
Yep.
He's your Prince William, isn't he?
He's in the rearview mirror. Certainly is. Certainly is. Right. We've got a small announcement about our World Championship, in that we have a name for it now.
Oh, yeah.
Because we don't like super clipping. Super clipping is bad. That's been renamed to shit clipping. But what we do like is super picking, which is how we super pick our drivers for each week.
Can we get a jingle for that?
Ooh, we need a super picking jingle. Like a jazzy, upbeat kind of... I don't know. It needs to be. I think it needs to be perky. I want to be perked before I super pick.
Like maybe to the tune of like Super Trooper by ABBA or something.
I was going to go super freak. Super pick.
Oh yeah, I like that.
I'm super picking. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, nice.
Clip that up.
There's your jingle.
Clip that up. You're winning at the minute because I scored nil points. We have some rules that, I'm going to be honest, will be flexible throughout the season as we actually work out things and we remember that certain things need to be accounted for. We hadn't considered sprint races when we came up with the original format, but the SPIA, the SPIA,
Yeah, sure. Clucking at straws here.
Yeah, the SPIA got together in the 20 minutes before this podcast, and they decided that sprint races still count, but they count for half points. Except, I think, if you come last, you should... I don't think I want to deal with half points. I think half... Actually, no, because half points might be the decider if it's going to be
You're going to have to.
Yeah.
You're going to have to, because if you get pole in a sprint race, you're going to get 1.5 points.
Ah, yes, there are multiple... Okay. And if you finish lap down in a sprint race, you are. If you finish lap down in a sprint race, you should still get 3 points, because that's a fucking good effort. if in 12 laps or whatever it is, you manage to finish that far down.
There's every chance.
Kick us off then. You're winning. Who are you going for round 2 of super picking?
This is probably the thing that I've spent most of my day thinking about.
Valid.
Here. Because I think there are 3 clear strategies available with regards to pit, and we love talking about strategies in Formula One races, and I think there's 3 clear ones. You've either got like a real aggressive one, well, no, actually both 2 very aggressive ones, or you've got one that we both stuck on last week, which is a little bit of a kind of a safe ground type thing. We don't really worry too much. I've gone for the aggressive one, or one of the aggressive ones, which may not shock many. But I am going to pick, and I'm very, very nervous in saying this, I'm picking George Russell this week.
Okay, he's burning a big boy. You're thinking just sprint points available. George is leading the field. I want to go maximum.
Yeah, I'm thinking 22 points, 11 points, 6 points for poles, possibly a driver of the day type situation. I'm thinking like a 50-point weekend. That doesn't add up to that, but I'm thinking like a 35, 40-point weekend.
Yeah.
So I'm going for George.
Okie dokie, using him early. I pondered that, which is how I was so quickly able to see your cards there of thinking absolute maximum. My concern and why I haven't gone that approach is we are still in unreliability season. You never know. We could be going around the Mickey Mouse here at the top of that circuit, and all of a sudden, engine kaput. Yep. So I'm hedging still, but I'm upper hedging because I liked what I saw last week. So I am giving it to my boy Isaac. I'm going for Mr. Hadjar because I think he performed well in that car. He showed that he's still got that pace. The Red Bulls seem to have tidy enough pace. We should be talking decent haul of points in both races. But engine kaput. And I don't want to see engine kaput on one of my big boys. If I have to burn a mid boy on an engine kaput, okay, can happen. But sprint weekend is not a weekend to be picking a, with all due respect, lower tier runner, because it's a cash-in. It's a cash-in weekend, isn't it? So there you go.
You have to get your points. You have to get your points.
Points.
I did very, very strongly consider Valtteri Bottas this weekend.
Ooh.
Very strongly consider. However, the conversation with regards to half points swayed me somewhat, because I felt that Cadillac, whilst reliable, slow.
Yes.
And I was thinking there was a chance, a good chance with the reliability type situation, that we end up with a 5-lap down Valtteri Bottas in the feature race, finishing 17th, for example, with some comical driver of the day nonsense going on, having been lapped twice in the sprint race type thing as well. But I couldn't do it. So yeah, I've gone balls to the wall here. Fine. And George,
there you go. If you would like to play, you can, and we will keep you on the spreadsheet. So you can email teamradio@lapdownpod.com. You can go to lapdownpod.com and hit the Team Radio button at the top. You can leave a comment on this if you're listening on Spotify. There's a commentsy bit. You can say things to us in there. You can slide a DM. You can leave comments on other platforms. Just get a name to us at some point before the weekend begins. And it needs to be before the sprint race, obviously, because otherwise it's cheating. So,
well, before qualifying in a sprint race, ideally.
Well, yeah. Anything competitive. So you've got Friday evening, haven't you? You've got until. Yeah. So get your picks in, get involved. If you want to send anything else, voice notes, thoughts, questions, answers, anything like that, you can. teamradio@lapdownpod.com. If you want to go and watch Dan do other stuff, he's on the internet doing crickety things at
Dan Jads.
Simple as that. It's literally as simple as that. And if you want to see me play games on Twitch, it's twitch.tv/Hey Look It's Alex. That's us. Leave a like, leave a review, do all that stuff. We said it earlier. We'll say it now. Do all that, please. It helps. But thank you for listening, if you've made it this far. Lots of new friends lately listening to the podcast, so it's lovely to have you with us. And yeah, let's go sprunting.
Yeah, let's do it.
Woo!
Tenderstem broccoli.